You don't spend all this money on a machine like this. You don't spend all this money monthly to get customer service like this. You don't. You do not. That is not acceptable, Tonal. That is not acceptable. Not acceptable. There's no reason. It's pathetic. You can't blame the pandemic. Okay? You can blame the pandemic for a million other things, including why is it taking 6 months to get my tonals? There's no excuse for this. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Joe Talks About This Amazing Machine. I have a very long awaited video for you guys today. I've been asked for a long time, Joe, please talk to us about the relocation when it came to tonal. Now guys, you might be aware, I'm going to try not to say guys as much as I normally do. People, you might be aware that this was an absolute nightmare for me. Now, I am going to come out and let you guys know I'm going to be using my notes. Now, guys, the reason why I have notes is because I have not thought about the relocation for quite some time. It's been a little while. It's been a few months, in fact. You might be wondering, Joe, why did you not do this relocation video right after the relocation happened? Honestly, the reason why I did not do that is because it was too upsetting. You guys might remember in a previous video, I told you it was an absolute nightmare. And I've dropped a couple of hints since then throughout some videos that this was an absolute nightmare to move. From the beginning of this channel, I have been an advocate for tonal. Back in the day when everybody, all those months ago, when everybody was waiting 5-6 months for their tonal and stuff, and I was like, up there on the camera telling you guys, it's okay, listen, it's worth it, it's worth the wait, it's frustrating. I was having people write to me all the time, Joe, they're screwing up on my tonal delivery, this and that, they got the wrong address, they're doing this, they're doing that, XPO is horrible, tonal is horrible, their customer service is terrible. I was always there to defend tonal. I am not going to be defending tonal today. If you want, you can just skip this entire video because it's probably going to be a bunch of ranting. But if you want, you can go ahead and skip it. I'll tell you right now, it sucked. It was horrible. If you want to stop the video right here, you can do that. If you want to listen on in detail, I have a bunch of notes. I waited to do this video because I knew I would get emotional and upset. And I thought waiting would cause me to get less emotional and less upset. And until I got on this camera, I felt less emotional, less upset. But now that I'm actually talking about it, you might recall in that first video I put out telling you I was going to use this conversation that we are having now as a therapy session. So I am going to tell you every single detail about the tonal relocation that I can. Coming from the horse's mouth, guys. Coming from the guy who's been defending tonal and XPO since day one. All right? Let's get into it. I am on my vacation with my wife in Hawaii. I get a call from XPO. It's an automated message, right? Saying, your tonal relocation is coming up soon. We want to make sure we have everything right. You're getting it delivered from this address to this address, from A to B, and it's going to be on this date. The A address was wrong, and the B address was wrong. So I call XPO up, on the phone with them, waiting on hold for over half an hour on my vacation in Hawaii. The last thing I want to be doing is be on the phone to talk about this upcoming move for a half an hour. Nobody's answering the phone. I'm waiting on hold. Finally, someone answers the phone. What happens? It hangs up on me. I had to call back 3 times and wait on hold 3 times. And every single time I got hung up on. Every single time. Until I had enough. I called Tonal up. I said, Tonal, I don't know what's going on with XPO. They called me. They have the wrong addresses. I need you to forward the addresses to XPO because I have faith in you guys. So they said, no problem. Customer service, as always, with Tonal is always very spot on, okay? Never had a problem with Tonal's customer service. They've always been very kind. I appreciate the customer service reps, every single last one. Talking to Tonal on the phone on my vacation in Hawaii for 15 minutes, not counting all the other time that I was on the phone with XPO for no reason because they kept hanging up on me. Finally, the addresses are sorted out, right? So I'm thinking, okay, Greg, I can get back to my vacation. Fast forward a couple days, I get back from vacation. Now is the moving week. I'm running around, I'm going crazy trying to get things done, and we're moving, packing boxes and all this stuff. I get another call from XPO. All right, your tonal delivery is scheduled for this date, from this address to this address. The addresses were wrong again. Went through the whole song and dance again with XPO. Then I had to go through the song and dance with Tonal again because XPO kept hanging up on me. They kept hanging up. There's something wrong with their system. Whether you're on the phone with an automated machine or whether you're on the phone with a person, they hang up. It hangs up. So I call Tonal again. I give them the correct address. No problem. We'll fix the address. Moving day comes. I'm waiting around. I take a day off of work. Now, you guys know what it's like to take a day off of work, right? You're wasting time. You're wasting money. I'm sitting around in apartment A waiting for the Tonal guy to come. My wife took a day off of work also, right? To make sure that she's there in case I have to run out and something's going on. So we both took the day off of work. Money out the window, okay? XPO comes. One guy comes into the basement, and he looks at the machine, and he said that this wasn't the machine. He looks at the machine, he goes, "What's that?" I said, "That's a tonal." He goes, "That's not a tonal. I install tonals all day." And I'm like, "What are you talking about, dude? Unless they came out with another model, it's got to be a tonal." Because, I mean, I do videos about tonal all the time. I know what a tonal is. He's like, "No, that's not a tonal. That's not a tonal." And I said, "Listen, man, I don't know what's going on, but this is a tonal, okay? They didn't come out with any new models. This is what it is." So he goes, well, I've never seen something like this. It says Young LA on it. I was like, "Dude, that's a sticker." He's like, oh, it's a sticker. I was like, all right, no problem. This guy seems nice, but I don't know. The next thing out of his mouth is, "Did they send you the box?" I said, "What?" He goes, "The box. The box that you need for me to uninstall this tonal and put in." So I'm like, "They didn't send me any box. They were supposed to send me a relocation kit." Okay? Now that relocation kit costs you hundreds of dollars, guys. I don't remember exactly how much it is, but it's hundreds of dollars. You'll know if you go onto their website. I think it's like, I don't know, $250, some ridiculous amount of money for that. It's new brackets, new screws, and stuff like that. You don't need that tonal relocation kit in order to take the tonal off the wall, but you do need it, according to Tonal, to reinstall it on the new wall, okay? So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, because that's going to be important for later on in the story. So he says, well, I can do the uninstall without the relocation kit, because that's for the actual relocation in the new apartment. But in order to take this off the wall, I need a box. And they were supposed to send you a box. So I said, all right, I don't know what to do, because, you know, they didn't send me no box. They didn't tell me I needed a box. They told me all I needed is this relocation kit that I had to spend $250 or whatever dollars on, right? So the guy goes, all right, let me go call my supervisor. He goes outside, calls a supervisor. I'm inside calling Tonal. And I'm talking to Tonal. I'm like, this guy's here, okay? He was on time. I've been waiting all day, and he's saying now he can't do it because he needs a box. Tonal is telling me, we don't give out boxes. We used to give out boxes, but we don't give out boxes anymore. All this guy has to do is wrap this thing up in a blanket, a moving blanket, right? A heavy-duty moving blanket or whatever. All he has to do is wrap it up in a moving blanket, carry it out to his truck, place it in his truck, bring it to a new location, and reinstall it, right? Now, check this out. I tell the guy, I get off the phone with Tonal, I tell the guy what Tonal says. He goes, there's no way that I'm going to be removing this without a box because this thing is too cumbersome, it's too heavy, and I got to be honest, I agree with him. I agree with him 100%. And it was only one guy. Whether or not it's one guy or two, either way, you want to put this thing in a box, not a moving blanket, right? At least in my opinion. He says, I'm not doing it. I can't do the job. I'm sorry. I call Tonal back up and I say to Tonal, listen, this guy is saying that, you know, he can't do the job. And then it occurred to me, he said that he didn't have the relocation kit with him because I said, do you have the relocation kit? And he said, no, I don't have the relocation kit. They send that to you. So while I'm on the phone with Tonal, it occurred to me, wait a minute, I never received a relocation kit. So I was talking to Tonal and I said, guys, did you ever send them XPO, the relocation kit? Because he's saying that he didn't even have a relocation kit. So even if he had a box, he doesn't have the relocation kit according to him. Did you ever send that to him? They said, no, we send that to you. And I said, well, I never got sent a relocation kit. I paid for one. I paid for one on the website. When I scheduled the delivery, when I scheduled the relocation, I paid for a kit, right? That I never received. I never received one. So they said, oh, well, you should have received one. And immediately you guys might know what I was about to say. Well, then why did you guys schedule the relocation of this device, make me take off of work, make my wife take off of work, simply to tell me that you guys never even sent me the relocation kit? This entire day was a waste. The entire day. Waiting around like idiots all day. They never even sent the relocation kit. So even if XPO came and had a box to move this thing in, he couldn't have did the reinstall because Tonal never even sent me the relocation kit. I am pissed. Really, really pissed off. So I told him, I was like, why did you even schedule this thing? And they said, well, that was an oversight on our part. We apologize. So I was like, all right, fine, whatever. You know, it is what it is. We're all human. We all make mistakes. Every single last one of us, right? So at the end of the day, I said to them, when you reschedule that delivery, make sure they have their box. And Tonal said, we do not give out boxes. But what we will do is, and Tonal was, they kept insisting, we do not give out boxes. XPO knows that we don't give out boxes. And they should be moving it without a box. Why it's such a big deal to send a cardboard box to the company that needs to move this thing is beyond me, okay? I'm spending $250 or whatever it is on a relocation kit, new screws and new hardware and new frame for the Tonal, right? Spending all this money and you can't send a box? All right. However that makes sense, or whatever planet that makes sense, whatever, Tonal's claiming they don't send a box, all right? So keep in mind, your XPO, if you guys move this, they might claim they need a box. Keep that in mind. And Tonal says they don't send boxes. And XPO and Tonal, as you might notice, they don't communicate. So now I tell Tonal, reschedule the relocation, okay? Reschedule it for so-and-so date because I need to be out of this apartment by this date. They say, no problem. We're going to schedule it for that date. It's scheduled, right? Couple days pass by. I get another call from XPO, automated machine. Okay, so we're coming on this date to move your Tonal from A address to B address. Not only this time were the addresses wrong, again, but it was the wrong date. It was going into the next month when I was supposed to already be out of my place, right? Before the end of the month, it was going into the next month. It was about 4 days or so into the next month. This is crazy. So this time I didn't even bother calling XPO because I'm going to get hung up on. I called Tonal. I'm like, what the heck is going on? You guys said that you're going to be here before the end of the month. And they said, oh, well, we don't have anything on that date. Well, then why'd you originally tell me you did? I said, all right, no problem. I'll talk to my landlord and see what he says. Gratefully, he was okay about it. He wasn't happy about it, but he was okay about it. He's like, Joe, you've been good. No problem. You know, we'll deal with it. We'll deal with what's coming, right? The second day comes. This time I'm at work because I didn't take the day off because I had already taken the other day off for the day that got screwed up, right? So I couldn't take this day off. So on the second day, I'm at work. My wife took the day off. My wife is taking the day off to wait for Tonal, for XPO to come and move this thing, right? So my wife calls me up while I'm at work. Now, keep in mind, I work a pretty dangerous job, okay? I work electrical construction, and I got to have my head in the game 98% of the time because, you know, if not, I could die. The second time, that second day, my wife calls me up, and she says, I had XPO on the phone, and XPO says that they're at our home, but I can't find them. So I said, okay, well, I don't know what's going on. Try to find them. Turns out, XPO had to call me directly. The actual installer from XPO, he called me. He called me after a roundabout with my wife and all this stuff. He called me from his cell phone, and he goes, hi, I'm outside, and I'm ready to do this. And I was like, all right, no problem. My wife's outside. He goes, all right, so-and-so address. I was like, no. That is the address that the tonal is going to be sent to. That is the new address. They weren't in Brooklyn. They were in Queens at the second address, the place where tonal was supposed to be reinstalled. Not only that, not only was he at the wrong location, but he had paperwork from tonal stating that he was not going to be doing a removal and reinstallation. He was supposed to be doing a repair on the machine. So he didn't even have any of the material that he needed in order to do an uninstallation and reinstallation. I have to give this guy credit. He sounded frantic on the phone. He did a whole bunch on his end to try to get things squared away. He made a bunch of calls to his boss. This guy was sent the wrong paperwork according to him from tonal. He said he had the paperwork with him. If he was in front of my wife, he could have showed her. Tonal saying that it was a fix on a machine over at so-and-so address. Completely wrong, backwards information, okay? So he took his time to try to fix the issue. So while waiting for this guy that we're talking about, the installer, the mechanic, to call me back, I get a call from XPO. So he's doing something on his end. XPO's updating their information. I get a call back from XPO saying that they're going to be coming in 4 days from that day. 4 days from that day in order to do the relocation. Keep in mind, I'm at work. I'm making phone call after phone call. I'm talking to XPO. I'm talking to tonal. I'm trying to fix this problem. And I'm at work. So what ends up happening? I end up screwing something up at work. I end up getting in trouble at work because my mind is somewhere else and I'm over here dealing with this. So I'm paying $50 a month to tonal. $50 a month. I'm paying hundreds of dollars to get this thing uninstalled and reinstalled. Hundreds of dollars for a relocation kit that they originally never sent me. Hundreds of dollars for a box, a cardboard box that they don't even feel is worth sending to the uninstall to XPO so that they can do the job. I'm spending all this money, all this time, all this energy. My wife took another day off of work simply to have this screwed up again. I am fuming, and I ended up making a mistake at work and I'm getting in trouble for it. I am fuming at this point. Fuming. I'm spending over an hour at work trying to figure this out. This is the last thing you need, guys, when you're going through a move. Last thing you need when you're going through a move. You're already going through hell as it is. Moving sucks. So the last thing you need is more problems. And it was nothing but problems. When I look back at the entire situation, it was less stress to move my entire apartment, every single thing from the couches to the bed to everything, than it was to move this single machine. It was a nightmare. I've heard about tons. At this point in time, I'm thinking about all the people who contact me. Joe, I'm having a horrible time with tonal. They're terrible. The communication between them and XPO is non-existent. All this stuff, it's all coming back. All of it's coming back. All of you wonderful viewers who wrote into me and I was like, guys, you got to be patient. You got to be this, you got to be that. All of that was coming back to me and I'm thinking, yeah, now I understand. I get on the phone with tonal and I tell them, I want a refund. Now, they never offered a refund, okay? I very rarely ask for refunds. I don't ask for money back. Very rare. Because when you're doing a job, and I know that if I'm doing a job, I wouldn't want somebody to ask money back for me if it actually costs what it's supposed to cost in order to get something done, okay? But I told them, I was like, listen, you screwed up 2 days worth of my time, my wife's time, tons of money out the window, tons of aggravation, tons of stress. I got in trouble at work. On top of everything else, I want a refund. And I want you to make the refund worth my while. I told them flat out like that. I want a refund on it. I didn't tell them how much to give me, but I told them I want a refund. Okay? And I thought, let me let them figure out what they're going to give me back. But in my opinion, a good businessman, they would have been like, Joe, we are so sorry. The first time, not the second time, the first time, they would be like, Joe, we are so sorry. We are going to make this up to you. You know, you're a good customer. You've brought thousands upon thousands upon thousands of customers to our doorstep to buy this machine because they know who I am. We're going to give you a break on it. You know what? We'll just install it for nothing, right? You think that. Originally, you might remember, I mentioned in another video, originally, they said they were going to install it for nothing because of all the work that I've done on my end for them, okay? All of the time that I've spent, they said they were going to do it for nothing. Then they called me back and they changed their mind about the whole thing. Just changed their mind. Nope, sorry, we only do that for people who work for Tonal. All right, no problem. So you think they would have, back to the story, you think that they would have went ahead and they would have been like, no problem, Joe. We're going to give you a refund without me asking. Nope, nothing like that. Not from Tonal. So I said, I'm demanding money off because you guys screwed up my day, 2 of my days and 2 of my wife's days. Okay? I want money back. So at the end of the day, they ended up sending me some money back. I think they sent me half off. Half off. So if it cost me $500, they took off $250. All right? Definitely not worth it. Definitely not worth it. Bad business. That's bad business. In my opinion, that's bad business. So now, we're still on this second day, and XPO calls me up, and they say, listen, we can't guarantee that we're going to come there tonight. And I'm like, what are you talking about? My landlord said it has to be out by this time, and you guys are supposed to be here today. This is the second time this is happening. So they said, well, there's not much we can do about it. So I call Tonal, I tell them. What does Tonal tell me to do? Tonal tells me to uninstall it myself. Tonal tells me to uninstall it myself. I'm sitting in an empty apartment and I have no tools. I have nothing with me. I have no help. Tonal's telling me to uninstall it myself to get it out of the apartment, and they'll send somebody to reinstall it in the new place on a different date. Are you kidding me? So I told them. I said, are you kidding me? You have the audacity to screw this up, and now you're telling me to take this off the wall? I spend all this money because at this time they didn't give me the refund. The refund came after all of this stuff. So keep in mind, I still paid for everything. Okay? No refund at this point in time. They're telling me to do the work. All right? So I said, that's unacceptable. So they get off the phone with me, and I get a call back from XPO maybe 20 minutes later, and they say, we're going to be there around 7 o'clock. So I'm like, all right, the entire day is shot. Might as well wait around till 7, right? When originally they were supposed to be there between 12 and 4. So now it's 7. Well, at least they're coming, right? So XPO comes, and what's the first thing out of their mouths? Where's the box? Where's the box? I don't know. Tonal said, you don't need a box. And they said, oh, you need a box. You absolutely need a box. And I said, listen, this is the second time this has happened. Okay? I don't know what's going on between the communication between you guys and Tonal, but something is wrong. Okay? Whether it needs a box or not, Tonal said you guys can move it with moving blankets. I said, there's a Home Depot right across the boulevard. Go to the Home Depot, buy the moving blankets, buy the tape, buy a box, buy whatever the hell you need to buy, and get the job done. Okay? So they thought about it for a couple minutes. They called their boss, and they ended up doing that. But that took another hour. So at the end of the day, they went over there. They bought the stuff. It is what it is. They were 2 nice guys. Really nice guys. I can't say they were not. Every person from XPO that I've met has been great. They've been very nice. And the guys who installed this originally at the original place, they were great too. All right? And the install was flawless. All right? So let me put that out there. So at this point, keep in mind, there's no communication between Tonal and XPO. None. 0. Whose fault is that? Well, it's Tonal's. You know why? Because you're spending $50 a month. You are the customer of Tonal. You are Tonal's customer. You're not XPO's customer. So whether or not it's XPO's fault, which I don't think it is, I have a feeling it's Tonal, because I literally call Tonal, give them the addresses, tell them what I need done, and they're sending the wrong paperwork to the XPO guys. But even if it is XPO's fault, they shouldn't be using XPO, Tonal, if that's such a big deal. But guys, honestly, the vibe I got was it was not XPO, for the most part, okay? Some of it was, but a large majority was Tonal, the people who you're spending $50 a month on for this machine. So we end up getting it uninstalled from that apartment, driving it over to Queens. It's probably about 8:30 at night, and I have work in the morning, okay? So does my wife, okay? But our time is just indispensable at this point, right? Who cares about our lives? So what happens? We get to the new place, and I see these two guys from XPO carrying this Tonal in. Do you have any idea? If there was steps involved, this Tonal would have been smashed all over the floor. Moving blankets and bubble wrap and tape is not sufficient. Not sufficient. This thing is heavy. This was two people. Sometimes they only have one installer come to uninstall and reinstall it. Okay? Like the first time that they came and they said they couldn't do it without a box. This was two grown men trying to carry this thing in moving blankets, bubble wrap, and tape. Tonal is slipping and sliding out of the moving blankets, falling all over the place. They almost dropped it 4 times. They didn't, but they almost did. If there were steps involved, forget it. Tonal would have been all over the floor. Okay? So keep this in mind. Keep in mind the fact that Tonal's going to tell you that we don't send boxes, and XPO might say, we need a box. When they say they need a box, they need a box. They need a box. And it's pathetic that you're spending hundreds of dollars to get this thing moved, and Tonal can't supply a box. It's pathetic. Absolutely, mind-blowingly pathetic. It boils my blood how pathetic that is. So what happens? XPO comes in, and they start putting Tonal up on the wall, right? They start putting Tonal up on the wall. And I say, hey guys, do you need the relocation kit that I spent all these hundreds of dollars on? Do you need the relocation kit? Because I got it right here in the box. The guy goes, relocation kit? For what? And I said, well, Tonal says that you need new hardware and new frame in order to reinstall this on the wall. Which, I gotta say, when I first read that, I was like, for what? Because, I mean, come on. There's screws and a frame. But whatever. You know, Tonal's got very specific requirements, right? So they said, no, we've never used one of those ever. And I said, they make you pay for this. This thing's hundreds of dollars. And the guy laughed and said, wow, I'm sorry. Why is Tonal forcing people to buy relocation kits when this thing went up on the wall with all the existing hardware and existing frame and everything? They didn't use the relocation kit. They didn't need the relocation kit. Everything was perfectly fine the entire time. There was no need. Why are they charging their customers for things they don't need? Why are they screwing up customers' dates, screwing up customers' lives when you are spending all this money on this machine? So they get this thing up on the wall. They were very professional. I think I gave them each $25 or something like that to go. They went out of their way, in my opinion, all right? And they were very kind. They were very caring about the entire situation. I really appreciated that. Now, Tonal's up on the wall. And for a week, after Tonal is up on the wall, after I'm in communication with Tonal, telling them I want money back for wasting my time and my wife's time, for a week after that, I'm getting text messages from Tonal and voicemails for days. Days. They were either texts or emails, whatever they were. For days, for up to a week after the installation, saying, we're ready to reinstall your new machine, to uninstall and reinstall your machine. We're ready for your relocation. Just let us know when you're ready. And I'm sitting there thinking, how incompetent can this company be? You do not have a right to charge people so much money and be this incompetent. You don't. You don't. Now keep in mind, guys, keep in mind, every single other video that I've ever done on this machine has been glowing. I've stood up for the company a million times. I've stood up for this machine a million times. I told you I was going to use this session as a therapy session, okay? And I'm grateful that you guys are either listening to me or not. I don't blame you if you shut the video off a long time ago, but I got to get it out. You don't spend all this money on a machine like this. You don't spend all this money monthly to get customer service like this. You don't. You do not. That is not acceptable, Tonal. That is not acceptable. Not acceptable. There's no reason. It's pathetic. You can't blame the pandemic. Okay? You can blame the pandemic for a million other things, including why is it taking 6 months to get my Tonal? You can blame it for that. I even stood up for you guys on that. There's no excuse for this. Okay? So I'm going to close this therapy session out with, this machine is amazing. Okay? Do I think that you, if you're thinking about this machine, do I think that you should not buy this machine because of this experience? No. No. I would still buy it. Depending on your goals, depending on your lifestyle, depending on your training, I would still buy this machine. Every single one of my other videos is valid. Valid when it comes to how incredible this machine is. The technology is mind-blowing. Okay? But my suggestion is, you know where you want this thing, and don't move after you get it installed. Okay? I highly recommend, if you're, like, I just had and one of the awesome subscribers of this channel hit me up the other day and say, Joe, I'm about to move in about 6 months. I want a Tonal. Should I order it now, or should I order it after I move into the new place? Absolutely order it after you move. I know you want to train now. I do not recommend you ordering this thing in advance and putting it on your wall and using it for a few months and then moving it to another place. I do not. Not at all. They were too incompetent. It was disgusting. Disgusting. Believe me when I tell you, I give people a lot of chances. A lot of chances. I did not make this video lightly. Okay? But there was no reason why 2 days out of my hectic life, where I'm already dealing with a whole bunch of other stress, and my wife's life, and she's already dealing with a whole bunch of other stress, do I need this? And then on top of that, I get in trouble at work. I'm not getting money back for that. I'm not getting money back for that. You think that $250 off is doing anything at this point? That's a slap in the face. And I was so disgusted after I got the refund that I didn't even email them back. Didn't even email them back. Because I was too sickened. And then I didn't do this video for all this time because I was too sick to my stomach to do it. All right, guys? So I know this was a lot, if you're even still there listening. But you need to know what you're getting yourselves into. All right? I don't just say good things about this machine. I've been accused a million times of being, blue blood Tonal. Joe will never say a bad thing about Tonal. Trust me when I tell you, those people have not watched all my videos. Because I'm very honest about this machine. I'm very honest about my encounters with Tonal. Very honest. Because this channel is for you. Right? This channel's not about Tonal. This channel's not about me. This channel's about you, the consumer, the person watching this video, because they want to know everything they need to know about this machine. All right? So I look forward to talking to you guys in the next video. I'm going to go try to calm down. I appreciate you guys for all the support. I look forward to talking to you guys in the next video. Take care.